wisdom, with the divisions of the Abhishamayalankara. Translated by Edward Conze. University of California Press, Berkeley, Los Angeles, London. Translation of the Sutra. Chapter 14, neither bound nor freed. 9. The equipment. 9. The equipment with compassion. Emancipation, a mock show. Subhuti. Because he is armed with a great armor, a bodhisattva is called a great being. Armed with how much of an armor can he be called? Armed with the great armor. The Lord. He is armed with the great vehicle, the six perfections, the applications of mindfulness, etc. 2. The knowledge of all modes. Armed with a Buddha frame, he radiates light over the great trichiliocosm and shakes it in 6 ways. In all infernal becomings he extinguishes the great mass of fire, appeases the sufferings of beings in the hells, and places all of them face to face with nirvana. The Bodhisattva then utters his message and pronounces the words, homage to the tathagata, the arhat, the fully enlightened one. When they have heard the word Buddha, the beings in the hells acquire some ease. Through that ease and gladness they emerge from their hells, are reborn in a world system in which they see and can please the Buddhas, the Lords, and win rebirth as gods and men. The same applies to the beings in the animal worlds and the world of Yama. It is thus that a bodhisattva is called armed with the great armor. Just as if a clever magician, or magician's apprentice, were to conjure up at the crossroads, in front of a great crowd of people, the hells, the animal world, and the world of Yama. He would then make these beings hear the message of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Through that message they would emerge from those hells, from that animal world, from that world of Yama, and would be reborn among gods and men. Would then that magician, or magician's apprentice, have made any beings emerge from the hells, from the animal world, from the world of Yama? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. Even so, after a bodhisattva has set free beings in countless world systems from these 3 states of woe, no being at all has been set free. And why? For such is the true nature of dharmas that in fact they are illusory. It is thus that a bodhisattva, a great being, who has mounted on the great vehicle, is called armed with the great armor. 9. The equipment with the perfection of giving. Furthermore, a bodhisattva, armed with the great armor, stands firm in the perfection of giving. By his magic he conjures up a trichiliocosm made of lapis lazuli. Conjures up a display worthy of a universal monarch. And gives food to the hungry. Gives away garments, vehicles, perfumes, garlands, flowers, incense, ointments, medicinal powders, houses, dwelling places, robes, the necessities of life, medicines, gold, silver, jewels, gems, coral, conch shells, quartz, pearls, etc. He then demonstrates Dharma to those beings, i.e., this very Dharma connected with the 6 perfections. And, after they have heard this demonstration of Dharma, those beings will never again be lacking in these perfections until they know full enlightenment. It is thus that a bodhisattva is called armed with the great armor. It is just as if a clever magician, or magician's apprentice, were to conjure up a great crowd of people, and give food to the hungry, and thing upon thing to those in need of it. What do you think, Subhuti? Has this magician, or magician's apprentice given anything to anyone? Subhuti. No, Lord. The Lord. Even so should one understand the actions of the bodhisattva who has stood in the perfection of giving. And why? For such is the true nature of dharmas that in fact they are illusory. 9. The equipment with the perfection of morality. Furthermore, a bodhisattva stands firm in the perfection of morality. Through his acquisition of the power to be reborn at will, he is reborn in the family of a universal monarch. He then establishes beings in the 10 ways of wholesome action, the 4 trances, etc. 2. In the 18 special Buddha Dharmas. And, until they know full enlightenment, these beings will never again be lacking in this demonstration of Dharma. Just as if a magician, or magician's apprentice, had conjured up a great crowd of people and had established them in all these wholesome practices. However many beings he had established in those practices, no being at all would have been established in them. The same is true of the Bodhisattva. And why? For such is the true nature of dharmas, that in fact they are illusory. 9. The equipment with the perfection of patience. Furthermore, a bodhisattva stands firm in the perfection of patience. He instigates, exhorts, introduces beings to patience, in the following way. On account of his first production of the thought of enlightenment, he puts on the armor thus. If all beings were to hit me with sticks, clods, fists, or swords, not even one single thought of rage should be produced in me. And also all beings should I introduce to such patience. Just as if a clever magician, or magician's apprentice, were to conjure up a great crowd of people. If they all hit him with sticks, clods, fists, or swords, nevertheless, he would produce towards them not even a single thought of rage. And if he were to introduce these magically created beings to such patience, no being at all would have been introduced to it, however many he had introduced to it. The same is true of the Bodhisattva. And why? For such is the true nature of dharmas that in fact they are illusory. 9. The equipment with the perfection of vigor. Furthermore, a bodhisattva stands firm in the perfection of vigor. He instigates, exhorts, introduces all beings to the perfection of vigor, in the following way. Here a bodhisattva, through attentions connected with the knowledge of all modes, is supported by physical and mental vigor, and he introduces all beings to physical and mental vigor. But all this is though done by a magician with regard to illusory beings, as said before. 9. The equipment with the perfection of meditation. Furthermore, a bodhisattva stands firm in the perfection of concentration. Here a bodhisattva, having stood in the sameness of all dharmas, does not review the disturbance or non-disturbance of any dharma. It is thus that a bodhisattva becomes one standing in the perfection of concentration. And he likewise instigates, exhorts and introduces all beings to the perfection of concentration. With the result that never until the time that they know full enlightenment will they ever again lack in the perfection of concentration. But all this is as though done by a magician with regard to illusory beings, as said before. 9. The equipment with the perfection of wisdom. Furthermore, a bodhisattva stands firm in the perfection of wisdom. When he courses in the perfection of wisdom, a bodhisattva does not get at the not beyond or at the beyond of any dharma whatsoever. It is then that he is one who stands firm in perfect wisdom, and he likewise instigates, exhorts, and introduces all beings thereto. But all this is as though done by a magician with regard to illusory beings, as said before.